Hello and welcome to another episode of Authentic Journeys. The purpose of this podcast series is to explore the intersection of high performance and psychology themes. So today I'm joined who I'm going to be having a conversation with. But to kick things off, Akhil, do you want to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about what you've built with the Calgary Chargers Cricket Club? It's cricket. You know, cricket's one of the fastest growing sports in the country. The city we're from is Calgary, which is booming.
Oh,
like everything
absolutely.
in Calgary is booming.
Yeah.
The Chargers are booming.
Yeah.
It's I'll go out there and say it's the fastest growing club in cricket in Calgary. So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about the origin and what you've built?
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me over, Fahad. This is definitely. I thought that I'm done with coming out of my shell, but looks like I'm not. So I didn't know this is one more thing I need to tick mark, but I think it's a great opportunity, and looking forward to it. Not sure how well I'm gonna do or how much I'm gonna suck, but we'll try. If it doesn't get posted, I know what's happening.
No. It'll get posted. Don't worry.
Well, I think lately, Calgary Chargers Cricket Club, now we call it Sports Club. It's been since inception, 2022. It all started, and now when you say it is the fastest growing club, it give me a bit of a goosebumps. Like, oh really? How far we have come and what we have built. Well, Chargers is basically it's a cricket club. It's a community club where the idea is to come and play. I'll tell you a funny story how it all started. I've been playing cricket with other clubs and other leagues before 2022. But I had some fall off, and maybe we can talk about it later in the session. But I was at that stage where my season was completely screwed, and I had nothing to do, and it was summer, and I'm like, I gotta do something. Then I heard about some folks playing tennis ball cricket in South. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do something. So I went there, I joined them, but tennis ball doesn't give you that same feeling. when the leather meets the willow, it's different. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, this is not gonna cut it. But at that time, I had nobody who I could reach out. So, but I was part of this community, this WhatsApp group, who were just enthusiastic players, but they wanted to play tennis ball. So I just sent a message in the WhatsApp group like, hey guys, anybody wants to join me for the next session? Sunday at this time. You know who the first person responded? Some guy named Shashi. And then comes Vaibhav. And then comes Mohit. And then comes JP. And then we met. They're all strangers to me. Maybe not JP, but others are strangers to me. We met. We had a great session. The next week we met. Great session. We decided to go for a meal. We sat down, had some good lunch, and then the same night, I get a call from Shashi. They're like, "This is great. Why don't we make it big?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, let's open our own club. I'm like, are you serious, dude? We just want to just play. He's like, yeah, we can do something. I'm like, okay, there's no going back. I was not planning for it. I think sometime it happens, or you can call it, you're the chosen one, or you're the medium. And that's how it started. We 5 of us met again, and we met at a shabby McDonald's somewhere, man. Like, I still remember, which is me, Shashi, and Vaibhav. We're sipping on a black coffee, and then we were like, okay, what's next? And I was like, Shashi, are you worried about players? Are you worried about the league? Let's not worry about that. Because every plane that lands in Calgary has 6 or 7 cricket players. Even if you go with the placard on the airport, we can recruit players. So don't you worry about that. It's going to happen. So that's really it all started.
Oh yeah, like every good idea, right? Like back of the napkin at a restaurant or something.
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty
yeah.
cool.
So that is how it started.
Talk to me. You said there was a fall off. Your season was screwed kind of before. Like talk to me a little bit about like that
Sure.
origin. Like how did you get to that point
Sure.
where you were like, I'm gonna play differently, or I'm gonna play over here and just see who joins me.
Sure, sure. So I'll go a little back as well. So cricket was always something, we've all watched playing, right? And this is all something we played as a gully cricket. We navigated through buffaloes and cows, right? Just trying to hit that shot. You come home or your mom's yelling at you. All the uncles are staring at you. Don't hit my car. But coming from that, I had a pleasure and a privilege to work and live in UK, in London for 6-7 years. But at the time you're starting out, you're building your life. So I never thought of playing cricket. I always used to watch, those county leagues happening. I was walking by, we see these guys playing in their whites. You're like, and I'm in a country village. I used to work in a place called Bath. It's beautiful, and they used to play beautiful county cricket. But I could never gather the courage to even go to the ground because I was so intimidated. Um, fast forward 10 years, 2014, I'm talking about like 2008, 2006 at that time. Fast forward 2014, I land in Canada. The first thing I do is I look up, be like, okay, how do I play cricket here? I don't know which website I jumped to, Fahad, but that was the biggest discouraging. I think it's quite funny. Somewhere it says to play cricket, you need to pay, I think, $200 or something like that. I think it was for a season. Somehow I read per game.
Oh.
And I'm still trying to convince myself. I'm sure it's expensive sport. Maybe I can try. But that thought just went to the back burner. And that was it. And then I had a resurrection, man, in 2018, 2019. I got to do something. Then I came across this Facebook post. Somebody saying, I'm building a cricket club, a cricket team. I'm looking for volunteers. I'm like, great. And I'm still thinking it's so expensive. But maybe if I go and help a club, maybe they let me play for cheap. So that was the mentality. That's where I joined these guys, and he was trying to build a team for a different league, not the league we currently play. But what I faced issues were once we all started, right? Season starting, jerseys are here, we're trying to play, and then I started to see the pattern. The pattern was you're called to the ground. They don't tell you who the playing 11 is. Am I a great player? No, I'm not. But I'm passionate about for this sport? Yes, I am. But they don't call you. Then you're told on the ground that, oh, sorry, but today is not your day. But keep trying. Maybe then in the next game. In the next game, you're excited. You put your jersey on. You go to the ground. And you don't get picked again. Why? I have no idea. Right? Third time, I said, hey, can we have a playing 11 before we reach the ground? No, that's not how we play. I'm like, okay, that's the culture here. Third time, rinse, repeat. I reach the ground, fight with my wife, sacrifice the time with my daughter. I reach the ground because I want to play. I get picked. I get to field. I get to bowl, 1 over, didn't get to bat. I was happy. At least they picked me. Fourth time, I got picked. Same pattern. Nothing happened. Then I'm like, what's going on? And the worst part is, I was not the only one. There were few other players. And everybody have their reasons to play. They come, they sacrifice. Everybody makes sacrifices just to come and spend those 5 hours, 4 hours on the ground. But I'm like, this is crazy. This is not happening. So I quit. I'm like, I can't do this. There has to be a better way. That's where I had to fall off.
I see. Interesting. Now, I imagine like you said, there were other people that were going through that same experience.
Mm-hmm.
but I'm fairly positive, like if there were 5 people that went through that, there hasn't been 5 clubs that came out of that environment, right? Like there's something here where your experience, your pain, and maybe some stuff way before, like led you to be like, here's a problem. I'm gonna attack it differently. I'm not gonna stop till there's a solution, even if it means taking all this ownership to like start something. So my next question is, how do you think your childhood shaped you into becoming someone that became a founder? Like, what part of your upbringing or childhood do you think led you to have that instinct to like not just look for solutions, but like create a solution?
No, no. Okay, I see you drilling in a bit. I'm just gonna just add one thing that it whatever experience I had in Calgary, it certainly um, gave me um, um, a vision and a mission to drive on further and be like, okay, I don't care how much or how great you have to be. I'm sure there are players who just want to play, no matter if you don't want to hold a bat, if you don't know how to bowl, we can do something about it. But again, so that's what kind of led us to find this club. But if I have to go back to my childhood, I think I was just talking about gully cricket. It's it's the hustle. And back then there were no WhatsApp groups, there were no phones. You had to rely on landlines and maybe shouting over the roof to your neighbor. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It all started from there. And was it easy playing growing back home? I'm from Delhi. It's not. You're stuck in your back alley, and you have cars parked. There's cow dunk on the roads. It wasn't easy, but it's that constant hustle.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of kept me going. Was I the motivated one? Yeah. Was I the one who took initiative, gathering all those 4 or 5 my neighbor kids? Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I was kind of um, um, they was like, oh, is Akhil back? Is he the one knocking the door? If he comes, you're not gonna go down and play. You know that?
Yeah.
That kid in the block?
Yes, yes.
So yeah, that hustle, I would say, Fahad, hasn't left me. I think I'm still hustling.
Nice. So it's more so the environment.
Absolutely.
Was besides the environment, were there people, or whether it was in your life or people you admired in general, that you think kind of nudged you along this path?
Oh, absolutely. I think if I go back to my childhood, my mom um, didn't grow up with a lot of privilege around me. I was thankful that I had a roof over my head, fresh hot food, great school to go to, but that was about it, right? There was nothing more to it. But I could see that lady, how resourceful she is with whatever she got, and how much she ran the house. She kept us fed, right? Raised us well. I'm glad I'm here. The opportunities I got. There's a lot to learn from that lady. My father, he how to be humble, how to be respectful. How to always be that. Be that person. You can always go to and talk to. Be approachable. That really helps. I'm lucky to be married to my this beautiful wife. She realized what I'm up to, even though I think we all joke around how hard it is. But she said, if this is what you really want to do, make it official.
Mm-hmm.
Do something which has helped you. And Fahad, the biggest thing that helped me, I used to get anxiety attacks a lot, and there were reasons or episodes or things happen in your career which has led you down. Your mental health, it just deteriorated. And some again, when you're not in your country, it's not easy to make friends. It's not easy to find that buddy to go for a drink and just sit down and just true. The things you used to do with your childhood friends, your college friends, you can't do that here, right? Until you really build that bond. So I didn't even know what anxiety was, honestly. There was a time I was let go from my job. And that was the first time I got fired. And I felt something. Like, I felt something, my heart was thumping. I'm like, what's going on to me? People call it a panic attack. I had no idea what panic attack is. I never even looked up on Google what is a panic attack till I faced that. Then it kept happening. I changed my job. Something happened again. I think if I tell you, you'll be like, what? I get called on my only day off from my director. He calls me in a public place to write me up. Will I let that happen to me today? Hell no. But at that time, I was naive. I was young. I didn't know how to protect myself. I didn't know how to surround myself with positivity, or how can I train myself or set myself for success in a way that I can't let these things happen to me, right? Now I can, but at that time I never could. You know what helped me with anxiety? Chargers. I felt I found a meaning. There was a big void, which I felt it has been filled. Can I imagine my life without chargers? I guess not.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it will be hard for me to again go back and think, what can I do now?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fulfilling. It really fulfills me.
What does the role of connection mean to you in all of this? Because you hinted a little bit to you were going through some hard times, there was some anxiety, and you brought up this point of like there were times in your life where you didn't have that friend to go for a beer or this or that. Then maybe you had that connection back home in a different way.
Yeah.
So just talk to me about like where you think connection and meaning kind of intersect in these things.
Well, I can tell you this. You know you're on the right path when you attract positive people and positive vibes around you. I'm not saying this because I'm sitting with you, Fahad, but you're one of that person, right? That positivity, that the willingness to be part of the initiative, be out there. Why do you do that? Because you believe in it. You see, and not just believe in it. You might have experienced yourself that I've felt that respect. I've been given that opportunity. I know I belong. I know I can do good, or we can do better. Just like you, Fahad, people joined. The connection just became stronger and stronger. We started with, I'll go back to the founding members. We started with 5 people, right? One didn't say parted ways, but backed down because of other commitments. But I think I'll say big kudos to Shashi with me. Shashi is my co-founder. Can I imagine running this club without him? No. I think I'll be lost.
Yeah. You'll have different anxiety.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, have I had low moments during club administration? Of course I had. Can I be vulnerable to everyone around me? No, I can't. But he's one person.
Mm-hmm.
I can be like, right? So, and he's like, calm down.
And
right?
Like knowing both of you, like you've probably done that.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "What the hell is happening?" Like, relax.
Yeah, it's usually me who's vented. He's the foam. He just absorbs, and he just absorbs, and he's like, it's okay. I'm like, I know, Shashi, it's okay, but he's like, it's okay. So yeah, man, talking about connection, I think I could never imagine that I'll find someone who I'll be, talking to or connecting with in almost daily basis. Sometimes I joke around with them. Shashi, you haven't called me today. And he's like, what, are you, your wife or something? So yeah.
Nice. Talk to me more about you mentioned your wife told you if you're gonna do this, do it officially, right? Talk to me about that time in your life where you were thinking about doing it. Part of you was gonna do it. Part of you maybe wasn't. You were on that fringe, and then what happened and what led you to like make the transition to be like we're doing this?
I think what really drove me, Fahad, is just my bitter experience on field. When I shared that with my wife, I'm like, this is crazy, and I'm like, they are these immigrants, and most of them are immigrants, like they're first generation immigrants who landed, and 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 they just get bullied around and pulled around, and I'm like, not everybody has a voice, but I think I can make a difference, and I am like, okay, we got to do something about this, and then even when Shashi and Vaibhav approached me and be like, let's do something, my first condition was this has to be an equal opportunity club, no matter what. Yes, we have evolved now. We have 5 teams. Like, who would have thought?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We started with 16 members, and the recruitment of those players, when we onboarded them and when we called them, and we're like, just letting you know, no matter how awesome you are, this is an equal opportunity club. So you will be given the same treatment as anybody else. Don't expect more games. Don't expect less games. Don't expect, oh, I'm going to be the top order. I'm going to be the first down. No. We're going to look. We're going to see. We're going to give opportunities to everyone. And we kept that. Was it easy to keep? No. People are used to it. People are like, what do you mean by equal opportunity? We're going to lose games. Yeah, we're going to lose games. It's okay. We are not IPL.
Mm-hmm.
We are not here holding $1 million contracts. People just want to play. These guys, they all work hard. They want to decompress, blow your steam out. That's what you want to do, and that's what we all. That's what I think. I think I'm really driving that. I usually don't take credit, but I think I'm really driving that, and there is a reason we have now a 35 over equal opportunity team. We have 2 equal opportunity team in week 9. We have 3 teams where we give everybody an opportunity. But that doesn't mean we don't evolve, right? Mm-hmm. We have competitive teams because we have that talent who really wants to play and thrive, but then expectations are clear. They know that that's how it is going to be. So that's that equal opportunity, mm-hmm. that being a voice for someone has really driven me to this cause. This is just not a club; it's a community, and then you have like-minded people kind of supporting you and working with you. You want to do more, mm-hmm. right? And every time you have a season, you have a successful season, and you see yourself growing. Fahad, I'm sure you also see on social media how many clubs are advertising to hire players. I think since 2022, this might be the first time we might have posted something. And only because we are looking for one specific talent. But otherwise, the club grew by word of mouth, nothing else. It's completely word of mouth. And even though, we might get more players, we have no space for them. And I believe that even next year, I think it's going to grow just by word of mouth. Why? Because people feel that they are getting the opportunity. And I think that's where I like to see it flourishing. Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. If we now fast forward a bit, mm-hmm. into like club has started, it's official, but we're not where we are today. Kind of more so in the early days, right? Like visualize yourself there. Was there a time or a circumstance where you almost quit, where it felt too hard or not worth it?
Mm-hmm.
or any kind of hard stuff you've had to go through to kind of get this to where it's at today?
Yeah, I think we're not when we're not making a playing 11. I thought you want to quit. um, when you are trying to stay put and be assertive on the vision, you get a lot of distractions, and everybody have an agenda, and everybody has an opinion. But steering them to that direction, that guys, fair play, equal opportunity, focus, that's hard. I think what's really hard is, and you are my um, you're my co-passenger in this. We are part of Enigmas.
Mm-hmm.
Enigmas did not had a great season last season. It we lost every single game except the last one. But we lost every single game. Winning is nice. I think winning is great. We all play not to lose, right? We all play. We all go to the ground to win. But I think showing up is better. Showing up after every game, having fun, building those bonds, creating those memories. That is why I always say, Enigmas it means the guys, they have a camaraderie. We have a brotherhood. Enigmas made us happen Revelstoke.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much fun we had, and that's what leads to one thing up. So I would say, as a captain, as a leader, it was a very difficult season. I was at the verge of quitting a lot of times. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea. And you know what the worst part is? All eyes are on you. No matter batting is collapsing, no matter there are judgment errors, no matter the players are not motivated, but the eyes are on you, right? You have to be the fall guy. Was it easy coming back as a captain? No. Do I want to be a captain? Only till we find a good leader. There is so much going on for Fahad in this club. And there's so much we want to do. We want to build future leaders, right? So I think that was the hardest moment where we really felt there's nowhere else to go. You're like stuck in a box. You can't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think if I had to find something positive in it, even till the last game, we are laughing over things. We were just joking around. And I kept saying to all of you, right, no matter we lost, we made some memories. We had a good laugh. We had a good joke. It's okay. It happens. I'd rather take that any day than players winning a game and just going back, everybody's serious on the field, not talking to each other, maybe bitching about each other, maybe not happy. And as you jokingly say, Fahad, and a lot of time is like, I'm praying for you to be out so I can bat. I know in Enigmas we don't do that. And I think in the club we don't do that. But there could be other clubs, other teams where, nobody's happy with each other. But I think we've built something good. And I think even though it was hard and tough, what kept me going is coming back to the field and just sharing the laugh with you all.
Mm-hmm. What did you do? Was there anything specific you learned or did to navigate those times where you want to stick to the vision, but you don't exactly know how, and what's the right next call?
Of course. During this phase, did I get calls like, "Hey, change your playing 11"? Somebody even say change the team's name.
Just bury it.
Just rebrand, start new, right? you say, okay, let's add some guest players, let's add some impact players, let's do something different, or maybe there are few players who are not really contributing, not because they don't want to contribute, but they can't contribute. Let's bring some rock star players. But I'm like, no. Everybody has paid. Everybody wants to be a part of it. It doesn't matter what the results are. What matters to me is this player has believed in us, believed in our vision, has bought into our vision. I don't know. I used to joke around and say that, okay, I think I was paying $300 for a game, but even for some players, $300 for a season is a lot of money, right? Some are students, some are struggling. If somebody has made that effort to pay that fees, and made arrangements, don't want to be their wife and kids. It's summer. We only get 4 months of summer, and either you can take your family out, or you can play cricket. You can't do both. So I want to make sure that that person is getting that opportunity, and I've always been about that. Whether it is a practice game, whether it is a game I'm getting to captain, so I always make sure you are getting that opportunity. The top tier players, they always get a chance, no matter what. But it's not about stroking their egos. It's about stroking the egos of the players who don't think they're ever going to get an opportunity. And I've always been about that, and that is the only thing I think that kept us going.
Let's talk about your sacrifices. So you're talking about like your members make sacrifices all the time, and you wanna almost honor that because I get the sense that you don't want them to feel the pain that you felt.
Yeah.
Which is a very like uplifting and like commendable thing to do. But let's talk about your sacrifices. Like what would you say are the top sacrifices you've made to continue to bring this vision to life?
My weekends, my knees,
Your
my back,
Yeah.
and sometimes my voice, right? And late night calls, it has become so calendar driven in my household. I don't know if I've told you this before, but every time there is something going on, whether it is organizing an event, discussing initiatives, or working on something new for the club, you don't get to talk. You're usually doing late night calls, right? Or, telling your wife, I have a game, a 35 over game, where you want your wife to think you're gone for the day.
Yeah.
How would you keep communicating that? It has become so calendar driven. Obviously, I have a 7-year-old, and we have no house help. So I think nobody has house help, I guess. But it's become Outlook. It's in calendar invite for everything. So it's in her calendar. So she knows that either I'm playing, or I'm organizing, or I'm talking, or taking a call, or late night meeting, or sometimes expect a player would send me a text message at 2 a.m. saying I want to open tomorrow, or somebody would say I'm doing physios for 2 weeks and I think I'm moving my body now, I can ball. So navigating through all this is very, very tough. I'll give you a very recent example. My daughter, she's a Girl Scout. She go to a Girl Scout and she does things. And tomorrow is her advancement ceremony, where she completes a year and they advance her to the next level. And sometimes I get blinders on. And my wife gave me shit last night. Actually, it was a hard day. I won't deny. And she's like, "Oh, it's Nia's advancement day," and I'm like, "But I have a game tomorrow." She's like, "Don't you want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's for 15 minutes, and it's just done. It's not like I'm going to a graduation." And it hit me, and I'm like, "What am I doing?" right? So sometimes it's good to be passionate, but don't be a horse.
Mhm.
Don't have blinders on.
Mhm.
You should know where you're going. So yeah, it's really hard, and you really need to manage your biggest sacrifice for me is my family. You know, um, I want to make sure that I'm getting to spend time with them and drive this project, this club. So that's where the biggest sacrifices are.
Mhm. What's something that's happened maybe last year where like a moment or something that happened that made the sacrifice feel worth it? Or maybe it hasn't happened. Maybe you're still chasing that, right? But is there something you can think of where that day or that shot or that end game or something where you were like, yes, this is
A
why.
lot, Fahad, a lot. As I said, Calgary Chargers is just not a club; it's a community. I think I should even call it a potluck. I think there's chaos, there's spice, there are opinions,
Mm-hmm.
there are
Snakes.
yeah,
Or not snakes, not
there are
anaconda.
there are personalities,
Yes.
right? And temperaments.
Mm-hmm.
You navigate through all of that, and there have been moments, and I think one recent moment comes to me when I read a message from you saying that you were able to provide an employment to one of our players. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I don't know how many people read that message or talked about it, but when I saw it, I was over the moon. I was like, because we have a community, we have a
100%.
platform, and now you were able to do that. Somebody was able to connect with you,
Mm-hmm.
and we did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were fortunate enough to have sponsors, right? We were fortunate enough to have that partnership with local businesses where we could use those funds. We proudly sponsored 2 players last season. We may be sponsoring a couple of players this season, not finalized yet, but and that's what gets them going. These are the guys who just landed or don't have
Mm-hmm.
a job or struggling, and we all know the economy of the country right now. Thank Lord. Hopefully, new prime minister do something fun, but or something meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
The clown is gone, but these things make a huge difference. And having said that, let me talk about Jaffer a little bit. I think
Mm-hmm.
um, those who don't know Jaffer Hussain is one of our top players. He's our most highest performing player. He's a captain of Dynamites. He's going to be a captain of one of our longer format game this season. And how much impact a one member can make. I still remember he sent me a message on Instagram saying that, and he his style. He bombarded me with his statistics. Boom, 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 boom. I'm doing this. I've done this. I've done this. I'm joining the club. I'm coming to Calgary. I'm like, great. Let's meet. Let's chat. And here's this hyper dude. He's so hyper, and he just. But I could see the passion. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, the drive, that force. It's unbeatable. I'm like, it's overwhelming me.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think that I can do better, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Players like that, when you meet and connect and look at where they have put us to the map, the way he led Dynamites, the way he has done things, the passion he showed, the amount of work he does for the club, we were able to clinch a titleship last
Mm-hmm.
year. We were the champions of weeknight. Who would have thought? We are a new club. We are still in our infancy.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing what we have achieved, it's oh my god! I think it's worth it. And I think I just want to add a couple of more things. When we hold our gala nights, right? When we hold our award nights, every time I see a player bringing their family with kids and going up and picking up that trophy, I think we have done it.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me. That's success. That's done. right? This is where we have achieved, we have made it. Or the shy player going up and turning into a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's not about winning trophies. I think it's all about making these players feel like a champion. Making that. I'm turning 40 soon, but talking about people in 40s or 50s or mid 40s, I think maybe a little bit young, but some of them have given up. If somebody's picking up a bat, let me talk about Gaurav. I think he's in his early 40s. Don't kill me, Gaurav. Um, I met him on a cricket ground. He was just sitting on a cricket ground, just chilling, waiting to be picked up by a local team playing cricket. And we happened to go there and playing with another team. But I knew him from a party. So I'm like, Gaurav, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, bro. I was like, oh. I'm like, we are looking for a player. You want to come and play with us today? Like, we are short players. He's like, yeah. And that's where it started. This guy, he is, I remember he had put on weight. He was trying to play. He was just like, oh, I want to do something. I don't know what to do. Look at him today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. He's not only, he's fit, he is the best fielder we have. Look at his scores.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at his statistics. I think in 10 games or so, he scored like 200 runs. I'm like,
It's insane. 200 strike rate.
where is it coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he got that meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's feeling fulfilled. He's making connections. And I know he has made great connections with some of the players in Enigmas. And he's out there, he's joking around, he's touching everybody, not in the wrong sense. I think he likes to massage the players. Again, not in the wrong sense. I think he's that compassion that, let me fix your back. Let me fix your sorrows from all the hard work you've done. Let me give a good massage, because that's what it is. That's brotherhood.
He gave
Right.
me a massage in Revelstoke. I've never bowled better.
There we go. See?
I never bowled more than 2 overs. Never opened bowling. He's like, lie down.
Yeah.
Ye patake nikalte hain.
Yeah.
And then I go on bowl and it's over. And yeah.
Yeah. He's that big brother
Yeah, he is.
you need in your team. And I think we're lucky to have him in Enigmas.
Mm-hmm. What's a part of this journey that you feel is something people don't see or maybe like misunderstood?
As I said, people have opinion and personalities. Sometimes, you know that every action you take, there's gonna be a reaction, and that reaction sometimes can be negative, sometimes it can be positive. But when it gets negative, it affects me a lot. Maybe this is 5%, and the 95% worked well. But sometimes you want to be like, why even this 5% didn't work out?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's for sure. I think when look at our Instagram, right? We got like over 1,000 followers thanks to you. Sometimes we do amazing reels. We post scores. We do fun stuff. We create events. But I think what people don't see is, I'm going to go back to late night calls,
Mm-hmm.
navigating and finding time to do things from your busy life. And you know what sometimes is really funny, Fahad, is when you try to delegate some work. If somebody says, I am busy, and I'm like, you have no idea how busy, what busy is. And but if you really want to do something, you have to find time, but you can't beat a drum about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
only the closer ones or the players or the leaders in the inner circle can understand that. But yeah, I think it's really challenging, especially when you hear a comment about or a criticism. But I always feel that criticism or that comment is a push to do better, right? And make sure that experience is much better next time. So yeah,
Nice.
I don't want to disclose too much. I think people relate. So
Yeah. What's the hardest decision you've had to make since you started the club?
um, I don't think so. I'm at that stage yet. I don't think so. I had to make any hard decisions. And every time I say I want to say we. Um, um, this is not my club. Um, there are some wonderful people who work behind and make things happen. I just want to say big kudos to Faizan, Jafar, Shashi, lately Hirsch, Fahad, yourself. Um, we make decisions, we do things, but I don't think so. We're at that stage yet that we had to make some tough calls. There were a couple of times we had players, um, you know, done stuff. We might have to, let them go or don't entertain. But I think that's about it. I think our retention is amazing. I've not I've not seen a club where we are able to, knock on wood, able to retain 100% players. And I tell you, the only players that have left, they have left the city or the country. Right? We have to have no one saying that, oh, I think I'm done with Chargers, so I'm going to go join another club. Haven't happened, and knock on wood, shouldn't happen. So I hope we don't have to make a hard decision.
Yeah. Is there is there something you've learned or realized that feels like a really unexpected lesson or an unexpected learning?
I think the most unexpected lesson, Fahad, is you need to always carry an extra LB guard and some extra balls. Because we have some batsmen who don't want to have kids. Or we forget to bring ball to play.
Yeah.
They've all reached the ground and no one has a ball to play with. So no, jokes apart, I think the biggest lesson for me is going back to leadership, and I think it's listening and making sure that you don't. When the club grows, I've never ran a club before. I'm just like any other guy. Something has to happen. It happened. It grew. It blew up. People joined in. But now, when you have this responsibility over your head, we can't take anybody for granted. What I have learned is when somebody reaches out to you for something, you just can't say, okay, I'll get to it. And you listen. If somebody's frustrated, they call you, you listen and you make it happen. You make them feel they belong. I think we are nothing up without our members. And I think making them feel home and making them feel the part of the community, I think that's the biggest lesson for me is don't take your members for granted. And if you can make time to run things, you can make time to listen and take actions. And we have a board. I can't do things by myself. I have to propose. I have to get yeses, and then we make changes. So it's a balancing act. It's very easy to offend people. Very easy to offend people. But if you are able to provide reasoning and explain, I think it works wonders. I've seen in previous clubs, people get egoistic and they want followers, it's not that here. I personally don't want to be the face of anything. The goal is to have this community stay stronger together, and that's the idea, and that's where I leave it at. I think the fact I think you talked about what was rewarding. I just remembered something I want to add. In our first season, we have this. I think he's one of our youngest player, Akhil bhai. Um, he has such a big heart, and unfortunately, this time I think he was traveling to Denver, so Faizan, I think, took the burnt and little bit, but he always called us for a biryani night on during Ramadan or just before Eid, and he has done that. And I remember this time he couldn't do it, so he called us and he's like, "Guys, I want to do it. I might be coming to Calgary for a few days, but out of those few days, I want to give one day to Chargers." I think, come on, like, where do you see that? Right? So I think that's huge. That's huge.
Would you change anything since you started the club? Is there anything you would change that has happened, or a decision, or anything like that?
Maybe hire someone to chase the ball in the field. No, Fahad. I think it's messy. It's chaotic. It's a lot of. I think it's kind of hot in the club. But again, I'm going to go back to say, a lot of temperament, lot of demands, but it's our mess, and I will love to stay with this mess and keep cleaning this mess and keep running this club with all your wonderful people, all these wonderful members around us. There's nothing I would change. It's not easy. It's gonna stay messy, but it's our mess. We'll clean it together.
Our season's about to start. You talked about last season was hard for one particular team, but elation on other teams, sticking to the vision. The hard season did end on a high.
Yes.
Lots of positives. Even after the season, lots of positives afterwards. If Akhil 1 year ago, so when the season was about to start last year, if that Akhil was sitting right here, what advice would you give to that Akhil, knowing what you know now?
Wow. I think the biggest thing is keep believing in the vision. Don't let the end result define your current decisions. Don't give up on yourself. And don't come in that pressure that what other players must be maybe judging you. Let them judge. I think what has happened to me is I may have made decisions thinking that what the optics are or what the optics could be next time. I think I made decisions thinking that what if I lose tomorrow's game, I gotta change something today. No, I think sticking to the vision is hard. We call it Agnipath. The path of fire. It's not easy to walk on that, but I think the end result is they call it, right? Success is counted sweetest. It only counted sweetest if you taste defeat. And so I would give this advice to the younger guy is don't deviate from your path. Stick to your vision, stick to your goals, and find yourself a good vice captain who can be there to support you, because I was alone. I felt alone. I was alone. I did not set up myself for success. I could have had that one player to be the captain or to be the vice captain, so I could groom and maybe could take a step back this season, right, and have that person flourish. And that's the idea. I think I kept experimenting with leadership, so I don't think that worked out. What we really need is a game plan, a strategy, and a consistent leadership and a set goal, and we'll have wins in our favor. I think we just need to stick to it. No more experiments, no more deviating and changing things around. And I think that's what's gonna get. We've got to get eyes on the prize, and we're gonna win. But we're gonna win with still making memories, still having fun, still maintaining our brotherhood. We're gonna do this.
Yeah, no, this has been super interesting. Thank you for coming. It's so, to be honest, like, I always felt there was a connection here as well, and I really appreciate all the stuff you've done for me. And hearing a lot of the stories you've talked about that led you to starting this club, it's a lot of similar things that led me to joining the club.
Wow.
Like, I had a very similar experience in a league here, actually, in like Seaton area, like Tape Ball League. Very similar experiences, and I was living in downtown at the time with my wife. Needed to kind of do something. I was also struggling with anxiety.
Oh, wow.
And mental health struggles, and I've struggled with themes of like loneliness, lack of connection, moving from Pakistan to Canada as like a teenager, then like not really having an identity, then leaving again, going to America, going to England as an adult, and kind of being locked, like not having connection again. So lots to like relate on there.
Wow.
And I now like more deeply understand kind of like why you have this club, and like why you do so much for me and why you do so much for everybody else. And I've always appreciated it, but now I can appreciate it, I feel like, a lot more deeply. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Fahad. You always think you're alone in this, in this battle, and I never thought, I thought it's gonna be a fun conversation about cricket. I didn't prepare myself to bring and talk about mental health. Honestly, I didn't. I had my notes. You see, I was on my flashcards cheating.
Yes.
But that was something. It was not in my notes.
Yeah.
That was not something I prepped. It just came out pretty raw, talking about mental health, and I'm, I used to think maybe it's me who's the weak one, who feels like that. But learning from what you've been through, I'm sure must be hard, which led to anxiety. How it feels so wide is you're just busy, especially you're busy, which brings you joy, and I think that's the mantra. That's the key. That's the key to everything. That unlocks all the joy and happiness and endorphins in your brain. That this is it. Our Sunday's game. God, it was 4 degrees. It was 4 degrees.
Yeah.
Like, anybody in the right frame of mind wouldn't go to the ground and play, right? But there is something which motivates us, right? It just gets us going from the bed. Would you get up from the bed on a day when you have no game in that weather and go for a walk? No, won't do that. But you're doing that because it just drives you, and I think whatever brings you joy, I think you should do more of it, right? I'm sure Ryan brings you joy, so I'm sure you spend a lot of time with him, right?
Yeah.
Same goes with me.
Yeah. This is my last hard-hitting question, and then we'll kind of end.
Sure.
Just end on a light note. You talked about anxiety and the void, which is, it's funny hearing like some of my other friends, yourself, some other folks, that have had mental health, or for one reason or another, mental health has become a focus in their life, it's funny hearing those people talk about these themes and say the exact same word when they're describing something, like void, connection. Like it's not even like different words, and you're like, oh, I kind of feel the same thing. It's sometimes literally the same word that they're saying, which is really interesting, and maybe we can explore that some other time. But do you think kind of the stuff that you're doing now? Do you think it's helping the anxiety? Like, do you think it's helping fill the void? Do you think it's helping make the void smaller? And like, do you think it's alleviating whatever's there? Or do you think it's not really doing that and you're just kind of staying busy? And the reason I say that is because let's replace the void with a dragon for a second.
Okay.
Right? When it's there for the first time, maybe it's a baby dragon. Whatever happened, whatever's going on, maybe it's a baby dragon. And maybe you're a baby in your mental health journey at that time as well. And it just probably, maybe it doesn't make sense for a baby to face off against a dragon. And there is a lot of good, and it makes sense to like kind of do things to get your mind off the dragon, to kind of keep surviving, keep moving forward. But if you ignore the dragon for too long, it's still there. Right? And then what happens if you get injured, or what happens if you can't do the things that you do to kind of keep your mind off of it? What happens then? And what if that baby dragon isn't a baby anymore? What if it's a little older? It's a little harsher. It's a little hungrier, and it kind of starts to come racing back. And so, just share with me your thoughts there. But I do think this is a good challenge for me to like almost help you to be like, yeah, exercise, yoga, cricket, spending time with your family. Yeah. These are great alleviations, but some introspection and that's still something I haven't mastered. But there is value into like thinking about like what causes that pain and that void, and like what we can do to like really wrestle with it and win.
It's a great question, Fahad. And honestly, while you were explaining the question to me, my mind was just wanting to dig and find those answers. And I think I have a couple of thoughts, and I don't know how simple or complicated my answer would be, but I'll try to make it easy. Is a dragon gonna be there? I think dragon's never going away. Never going away. It's always gonna be there. Always. You need to find a shield to protect you. You need to learn how to fight that dragon. Dragon's never going away. He's there. Once it has entered your mind frame, your anxiety, you can never always overcome anxiety. We need to find or prepare yourself that if you have that another anxiety episode, how equipped you are and what you're going to do about it. Two things. There was this person. Because of that, I started getting anxiety. One part with the job, over there with this person on the job because of that person. This person happens to be playing in the same league.
Oh.
And and I had no idea because I thought this person has moved to a different city. That's what I knew last. I went and did an umpiring for a game because there was no other umpire available. I was like, fine, I'll go and do it. And guess what? I'm the umpire, and this person shows up from my back to give me his cap and his jacket. And I look at him, and he looks at me, and I'm like, oh shit. And you always dread that if you ever face this person again in your life, how are you going to react? You have no idea. But you always visualize, if you have that incident, what is going to happen, how your body is going to react, how your mind's going to react. Are you going to go into anxiety again? Are you going to say hello to him? Are you going to ignore him? What's going to happen? You have no idea. It happened to me, Fahad. I was not prepared. It was so organic. I pretended I don't know him. He pretended he don't know me. And I stood there for 3 hours umpiring, and I kept seeing him, side of my eyes, front of my eyes. Either he's bowling on my side or he's batting in front of me. Nothing happened. I am over it.
Mm-hmm.
I was over it. I called my wife during the innings break. I'm like, shit. And she's like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling good? You want me to come and get you? I'm like, no, I'm good. And then when I finished the game, called her. I said, I won. I defeated the dragon. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That made me feel things are great. What happens, Fahad, is when you're completely attached or really attached to something which you believe in. Let's talk about Chargers, right? If something happens in Chargers, the whole idea of, getting involved is you can jump over the cliff and it's past you, behind you. It's not gonna come in your way. But if you think you're getting anxiety by trying to operate Chargers or being a part of it, something is not right? So
Mm-hmm.
it has happened.
Mm-hmm.
It has happened to the extent I felt someone must have left the club because of me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the case? I don't know. But I met this player and things are great, right? Great. But that has happened because I was trying to enforce equal opportunity in one of the games. But I think this player was not happy about that. But that's okay. It's a tough journey.
Mm-hmm.
It is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have given me a bit of anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, what I did. I should call. Then I'm like, no. I don't need to over-explain myself. I have a vision.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to over-explain myself or justify my actions. If my actions makes you feel not comfortable, it's not my problem. That's what I learned. It's your problem. It's not my problem. But I did not learn that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, I used to think, it might be my fault if you're not feeling good. So I'm going to please you a bit by giving a part of me. No. Why?
Mm-hmm.
It's not my problem anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a journey. I learned a lot. I learned a lot through this.
Mm-hmm.
Not just growing in your career, being a part of Chargers, and learning's never gonna stop. But if you need to have someone there to, even if somebody can say you're doing great, don't worry, it helps, right? Mm-hmm. It helps, like you shashi, right? If you would say you're doing great, don't worry about the 5%. Let's focus on the 95%. I'll be lost. So you might need another night to fight the dragon with you.
Totally. I want to end with a couple of thoughts. I actually think, given what this club is and where it is, I actually think, and I'm obviously biased because I'm part of the club, I actually think equal opportunity is the right winning strategy. Because if the club was 20 players, 15 players, and let's say you were one of them, and let's say you have the ambition to be a spinner and a batter, right? But it's the ambition. And you're not getting enough reps. You're not getting enough reps in practice matches. You're not getting enough reps in league matches. None of us are professionals. None of us, if all of us didn't have jobs, we wouldn't have the money to play, right? So it kind of goes hand in hand. Most of us are married. Most or all of us have commitments. And if we put together the best 11, the best 11 won't be available all the time, right?
Yep.
So what happens when Harsh isn't available? What happens if Anjani's not available? What happens if Jafar Bhai is not available? We're just not going to have a bowler that day?
Yeah.
Or that's the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the opportunity. It happens once every 2 years. And what's happened and what has happened between those 2 years? Nothing.
Yeah. You're still sitting on the side.
You're still sitting on the side. Maybe you're going to nets, but you have no idea what the difference is between grounds, pitches, and the nets, pitches in the actual game. And so I actually think, if it wasn't for equal opportunity, you probably don't get enough reps to score 40 runs on 24 balls.
True.
Right? Like last weekend. And so, like, as that builds, like, I feel like that is going to be our weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That it's because we have the good players. We have, like, our elite players. But then we have this crop that we're building.
I might not be the best example because as a person in power, I can still influence my batting order, right? But I'm going to take you as an example, right?
Yeah.
Tuesday game, you were given an over. The fielders, did they believe in you? Yeah, you're going to get wickets? No. Fahad, no. 4 wides. Some players were like, just get over with the over. Just get over with the over, Fahad. You heard that comment?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to believe in yourself. I came to you. I said, Fahad, fix this, fix that. I believed in you. That's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
You got 2 wickets, Fahad.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was quiet.
Mm-hmm.
They must be still be laughing over. And why not?
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Right? You're an underdog. You are a definition of underdog. You come in, nobody expects, you change the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to always have that opportunity given. There is no opportunity.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a privilege.
Of course, man. There's a guy named Dan Campbell. He's the head coach of the Detroit Lions. I think if you have free time, which you don't, but if you're ever wanting to be inspired, I think you should just Google him or watch some of his speeches on YouTube. He took over a team that was the worst.
Baseball?
It's football.
Oh, football. Okay.
It was the worst team in the league. They're the only team ever in the history of the NFL to ever go a season without winning a game.
Wow.
And then, because of that, nobody wanted to play there after. Nobody wanted to coach there. They were almost going to sell the team. And then this Dan Campbell guy got picked as the head coach. The only thing he changed was the culture, like the ownership culture and the belief in the team. Didn't change the quarterback. They didn't really make any big changes to the players. Mm-hmm. It's the same players that lost every game.
Yeah.
And now they're in the championship game pretty much every year.
That's great.
Right? And it's just a mindset shift.
Yeah.
And a belief. And I feel like you have a lot of that. So
no, that's great, man. Thank you, but
yeah.
No, I think having that like-minded people around you, and I'm just blessed that everybody's so welcoming and they listen to you and they agree with you. They don't agree with you. We make invincibles. Here's invincibles. Go make it happen. But everybody comes together, right? Faizan, he believes in equal opportunity. Jafar, Shashi, myself. If we don't drive this, it won't happen, right? So yeah, one person can push, but the others have to jump on it and work on it, and it works.
Totally. Well, thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure having you.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I was really nervous. I don't know what to expect, or I don't know how much you're gonna. What all places you're gonna throw me at, but no. I think it was great. I think I felt a bit of a therapy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think
Exactly.
it was a bit of a therapy. Yeah, no.
Sure, man.
We should do this.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe again in a
yeah,
year or
why
two.
not, man? And good luck with your new journey.
Thanks, man.